Good morning, Prime Minister. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News. Conservatives say you are jetting around but getting nothing done. You've met with numerous leaders while you've been here, but you're not signing a new deal or making, announcing a new partnership. What have you achieved tangibly for Canadians during this trip?
Yeah, look, there's a couple of things, Jeremy. One is that, and I would look at what we've done over the course of the last 10 days in Mexico, in New York, in Ottawa, in London. Major trade deal with the fourth largest population economy in the world, Indonesia, a country that's on track to be the fifth largest economy in the world over the next 2 decades. The first major trade deal for that country with Canada. It's comprehensive, signed. A deepening of the partnership with Mexico.
Mark Carney's press conference in London was a masterclass in control. Reporters came loaded with attacks, but Carney came with results. When a journalist accused him of flying around the world and achieving nothing, he didn't dodge the question. He answered with receipts. He listed a major trade deal with Indonesia, deeper economic cooperation with Mexico, and progress with the UK on defense and agriculture.
We may be in London, but I've got a question about the United States, sir. It's
That's fine.
unescapable.
Yeah.
Why didn't you communicate to Canadians that you were fully dropping non-sectoral retaliatory tariffs? So not just CUSMA-compliant goods, but non-CUSMA-compliant goods. Also, if you have any thoughts about how Donald Trump's latest threats for tariffs on furniture and pharmaceuticals are likely to affect Canada.
I mean, the first question is a rounding error. The CUSMA compliant, no, come on. The CUSMA compliant is, for example, for Canada, it's more than 97% is CUSMA compliant. It's effectively the same thing. It's just more straightforward. We did it that way. The classes of goods, there are classes of goods where we did keep retaliatory tariffs on related to 232 tariffs, for example, on steel. And aspects of autos. We are one of very few countries that still have retaliatory tariffs on with the U.S. because in those areas we are engaged in negotiations, first point. With respect to the announcements, form of announcements in the last 24 hours. As you know, but just to make clear, we haven't seen any of the detail of those announcements. There's no executive order. There's no formality yet around those announcements. So I hesitate to be too conclusive about what I say. I would note on pharmaceuticals that the vast majority, what the announcement suggested, the Truth Social post suggested, was with respect to patented pharmaceuticals. The vast majority of Canadian pharmaceutical exports to the United States are generic pharmaceuticals, so on the face of it would not be affected by this. In addition, there was a distinction between companies that are building or plan to build plants in the United States, and many of the producers in Canada have operations in the United States. They're global companies. They have activities. So in both of those respects, the actual application of that pharmaceutical tariff, which admittedly is very high at 100%, could be modest.
There was no performance, no spin. It was a direct reminder that Canada is now operating on a global level, not waiting for handouts or headlines. Then came the Trump question, and this was the moment everyone was waiting for. Carney didn't flinch when pressed about tariff threats. He broke down the numbers calmly, explaining that more than 97% of Canada's exports are already covered under the USMCA, making most of the tariff talk irrelevant.
We're building on our strengths. We recognize that we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of each other. We can't control what other nations do, but we can control our own economic destiny. So we're charting that course to build Canada strong. We're building a stronger economy to create greater certainty and security for Canadians, to create conditions that empower people to find a good career, to put food on the table, to be able to buy their first home.
He reminded everyone that Canada still holds its own retaliatory tariffs on key goods like steel and autos. His tone was surgical, not emotional. He took apart the criticism piece by piece and turned the question into a lesson on trade reality.
Now, the world is undergoing a number of fundamental shifts that are challenging all of those premises. New technologies have brought distant threats to our doorstep. Power has become multipolar. Authoritarianism is resurgent, and consensus within many democracies has fractured. This is not a slow transition, it's a rupture. And the mission of our new government is to ensure that Canada will not just be able to endure the impact of these shifts, but to prosper through them. I just want to make a few comments before taking questions on our strategies and how Canada is approaching these missions. First, we're building on our strengths. We recognize that we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of each other. We can't control what other nations do, but we can control our own economic destiny. So we're charting that course to build Canada strong. We're building a stronger economy to create greater certainty and security for Canadians, to create conditions that empower people to find a good career, to put food on the table, to be able to buy their first home. And since forming government, we've moved quickly to begin to deliver on that promise. In the first 4 months, we cut taxes on incomes for more than 22 million Canadians. We cut taxes on capital gains. We removed all federal barriers to interprovincial trade in a move towards one Canadian economy. We passed landmark legislation to fast-track major projects in energy, artificial intelligence, critical minerals, and trade infrastructure to new markets. We've launched Build Canada Homes to help double the pace of home building, building at a pace not seen in Canada since the end of the Second World War. Now, while in the UK, I've met with business and investment leaders to discuss new economic opportunities and partnerships as we look to attract capital to Canada and to empower Canadian workers with new, high-quality careers. My message to business leaders here in New York, throughout the world, is we have what the world wants. Canada is an energy superpower in clean and conventional energy. We're amongst the top 5 producers of the world's most important critical minerals. We're a leading developer of artificial intelligence, and we have the world's best talent in quantum and computer science. We have the resources that businesses need to thrive and compete in today's more volatile global economy. And the second point I emphasize is that we are a nation that is building with our values. Nous bâtissons avec nos travailleurs et nos entreprises pour créer des dizaines de milliers d'emplois spécialisés bien payés pour les Canadiennes et Canadiens de partout au pays. Nous bâtissons de manière durable en accélérant avant tout les projets axés sur l'énergie propre. Pour chaque dollar investi dans l'énergie conventionnelle, nous investissons $1,60 dans l'énergie propre. Nous favorisons l'inclusion grâce à un partenariat avec les peuples autochtones. Ce sont les valeurs qui guident nos politiques et nous aident à bâtir notre nation et guident aussi nos relations internationales. Yesterday, I participated in the Global Progress Action Summit. And at that meeting with fellow leaders, we discussed how to confront the most pressing challenges of our time together, and how to face these challenges in ways that create prosperity for working people, that build sustainable economies, and shape thriving and inclusive societies. By sharing strategies and solutions, we are better able to align and mobilize joint efforts to address these challenges. The third thing, we are engaging pragmatically to make progress internationally. To provide greater certainty and prosperity for Canadians, we are focused on building a new web of trade relationships around the globe.
Carney then shifted the focus to Canada's growing leadership role in global security. He pointed out that Canada is one of the leading trainers of Ukrainian troops and continues to build new defense partnerships with allies like the UK, Spain, and Australia. His message was clear. Canada isn't waiting for permission to lead. It's already doing it. The press wanted sound bites. Carney gave them a strategy. He turned confrontation into clarity. Every answer reinforced the same point. Canada will build at home, diversify abroad, and never again let its future depend on another country's decisions. This was more than a press conference. It was a declaration of intent, delivered with precision.